Welcome back to Soccer City, folks. Danny Brams here on a Thursday. Post-Open Cup, Charlotte FC advancing to the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup last night after the first ever Charlotte derby. Big match, lots of fun. Had a great time out in Matthews last night. Charlotte didn't really have much problem beating Charlotte Independence here. They put 6 goals past them after an early red card, and it wasn't very competitive, but it was fun. Absolutely wonderful to be out there. John and I and a lot of great fans had a blast, had a ball. Love to see Charlotte moving on in the Open Cup. They haven't always taken the Open Cup so seriously in the past, but maybe this year will be different. A lot of good contributions from young players, and everything was great. Just a great night, and vibes are strong for Charlotte. After a disappointing loss last week versus Nashville at home, you see David Schnegg getting out there. David Schnegg really was a standout here with a heavily rotated lineup and a lot of guys who don't play a lot getting their first team action here in the Open Cup. And David Schnegg was absolutely amazing. I would like to see a little bit more of Schnegg, I think, in the first team in the league, in the MLS. I mentioned the loss to Nashville, and that is where we find our special guest here because we didn't have fun losing the match, but it was great to see a big broadcast team. Apple sent some of their best, and they sent Jillian Sakovits, among others, to Charlotte last week for the Nashville match. She was on the sidelines, and she now makes her Soccer City debut. Welcome to Soccer City, Jillian. Thanks for coming by to visit, and let's talk some Charlotte FC and some MLS and have a great time. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. And Danny, I know we're missing John today, but yes. I just want to say so sincerely that I know that you guys are doing, like, quote, the soccer lord's work in this. I know that you guys all have to have, like we all do, full-time, multiple jobs, everything. And then that these types of shows are a labor of love, but that they're so important to the MLS landscape. And just Charlotte does such a great job. Like when I'm flying in, like I had on Soccer City, and you guys just do such a good vibe check of keeping people up to date on what's happening in Charlotte. And these podcasts and these shows are so important to the local market. So thanks for everything that you guys do. I mean it. They're so well done.
I mean, it's my mission, Jillian, when people come in to visit, to make them feel welcome and feel like I've done my homework and know who they are coming in. The fact that you've returned that favor and done your homework here on Soccer City and can welcome, I feel welcome now here in my own show. So thank you so much. The vibes are strong. We love to, vibes is one of probably the most said word in the history of this show that's been going for 4.5 years now. And, we don't mind it. We're actually happy about that. I mentioned that you visited Charlotte. I always like to, when we have a new Soccer Citizen, a debut here on the show, I always like to bust out some video clips. I couldn't find any vintage clips of you, Jillian, but I did hit the Instagram page, and I liked this reel you put together. Your 2 Get Ready With Me videos here from, you did back-to-back games, 2 games in one weekend, so you had to double it up. And you did Charlotte on Saturday, Columbus on Sunday. Tell us how much better Charlotte was than Columbus. Come on, get yourself in trouble in Ohio here. Come on.
Okay, I love my Ohio teams. I will say that home game in Columbus is fantastic, and a home game in Cincinnati is fantastic. Home game in Charlotte is like a nice combination of true soccer fans, but also like kind of almost Southern hospitality. I know it's technically the Southeast, but like I spent so much time in Atlanta as the host and reporter for Atlanta United for 5 years that as a New Yorker, I got such a beautiful taste of the beauty of the South, and you get that friendly vibe in Charlotte. So I love Charlotte. It is such an underrated soccer city. And when everybody said like soccer would make it in the Southeast, when Atlanta United came in, Nashville came in, Charlotte came in, you see why the Southeast is such a hotbed. And Charlotte is such a good ambassador of that. And then you mentioned the 2-a-days or 2-a-weekend, we'll call them. It was fantastic. It was so fun. And they're such great teams to cover. And getting to cover Charlotte and Nashville were 2 really fun teams to watch. And then who would have thought that Sunday Night Soccer, which is supposed to be like the Monday Night Football of MLS, Orlando, Columbus, that was ticketed in December as a great game. And then it's 13 versus 16. So it ended up having drama and, unfortunately, a really unfortunate injury to Abu Ali. But I felt very fortunate to get this Saturday game on my schedule. That at the time it was 1 versus 3 or 1 versus 4 in the East. 1 versus 3 in the East. So that was great. I love Charlotte, and I would also love Charlotte's airport, I will say, because I was going to fly out on the 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Then as I'm walking out of Charlotte Airport on Friday night, when I got there, I saw that there's a nice 11 p.m. flight to Columbus. So who knew? So I ran out of your stadium and I hopped on a flight, which also like made my life a lot easier. So I'm here for all things Charlotte.
I mean, once again, vibes super strong. Absolutely loving it. Sounds like you had a dream working vacation here in our fair city for just a night, just a dip in, a pop out, and we absolutely love it. You talk about being a New Yorker, and that's where we go next because Charlotte FC is going to New York City. I'm going to tip you off something. Now, your grandfather, I've read a little bit about you. Your grandfather helped build the Statue of Liberty. I believe you can feel free to share any of that beaming pride if you want. But I want you to know, I've already done my advance work. I was in New York City last weekend. I was repping for the Crown on the Brooklyn Bridge, at the Met, in Midtown, up high in the sky, looking out at Empire State. And I'm throwing up the crown. I'm wearing the hat. And I just wanted New York to know this was last weekend. And I wanted everyone to know that we're here. I was like the advanced scouting trip.
So
and, what do you got, New York?
So we swapped cities. So when I came to Charlotte,
Yes.
you were in New York.
Yeah. No, actually, it was 2 weekends ago. Sorry.
2 weekends ago.
Yeah, I was at the Nashville game. I missed the Charlotte game before that, the week before that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
win.
So yes, my grandfather did help build the Statue of Liberty, your ultimate poetic immigrant story. He started off as the lowest paid worker in a steel mill after having to flee Hungary as a refugee. Eventually, after about 10 other stops, made his way to New York, where he had a family. But he started off as the lowest paid employee at a steel mill and ended as the highest paid employee at a steel mill, despite no formal education. English not his first, second, or third language. And if you ever go in the Statue of Liberty, there are spiral staircases at the very top, and they're so tight. And it was he who helped build those during the Statue of Liberty renovations.
Thank God for immigrants getting the job done. That is absolutely amazing. And we can't wait. I love New York City. I took my daughter there. So I was taking her there for a birthday trip. I take her every year. She loves it. This was our 4th trip, but usually we've gone in the winter. And this time I was like, I can't do January again. Either pick a new city or a different time of year. So we delayed it. Her birthday's in January, but we went in April and had a grand old time in the city. Much better in the spring.
Thank God. I'm embarrassed sometimes of what goes on in the winter there. Please no. Do not.
Well, hopefully everyone in New York is going to be embarrassed about what the Pigeons are doing this upcoming Saturday, because I am very excited for this match. Charlotte FC against New York. You talked about how it was a big matchup. Charlotte versus Nashville was a 1 versus 3 in the East. Now it's a 4 versus 5 here this weekend. And what do you love about this matchup right off the bat, right off the paper?
I think that revenge will be on Charlotte's mind for 2 reasons. Not only did New York City FC, as we know, send Charlotte packing in the playoffs last year, but it was the irony of the fact that it is such a successful place for Charlotte to play. Second most in home wins and home points since they came into the league, second only to the Giants in LAFC. So they have made Bank of America a fortress, and that is awesome because while it is a great place to watch game, the fans are fantastic, the traditions are fantastic, the aqua seats and everything, like it's still an NFL stadium. So it is tough to make that look intimidating. And, you go to New England, you go to Atlanta. Charlotte does a really good job of still, I think, making it an intimidating atmosphere. Even when the place, it's hard to pack it out, 60, 70,000 people. But
yeah, they've abandoned even trying to put people in the upper bowl this year, which they used to do. Try to do for big
one of the
matches,
leaders in the league in attendance.
Yeah,
and it is such a good atmosphere. But I think what shook me and probably shook the fans last year was the lack of the ability to win in the postseason at the Bank.
Yeah,
because in that best of 3 series, we saw New York City and Charlotte all win away, which makes no sense. But they were great games. They were tightly contested games. And I think it is going to be a test for Charlotte to see, can you win, get it against New York City, a team that went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, fell only to the eventual winners in Inter Miami. And this is a really good litmus test, win or lose. But how do you go out and play this game, hopefully with a now fully fit squad in the Nashville game, Wilfred Zaha was out due to yellow card accumulation.
Yep.
And how
He was also out for game one of that 3-game series
I
against New York.
remember
You know,
2 of my 4 games.
Yeah.
It's very poetic. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. 2 of my 4 games that I have had Charlotte FC over the last 2 years, there has been no Zaha due to discipline. So anyway, I think it's revenge should be on their minds.
Yeah.
And this is a very good measuring stick for Charlotte because there's really no asterisk. And New York City is a really good team. A really good team.
Yeah, they look formidable and intimidating for sure. I think you nailed it when you talk about revenge, and revenge is certainly on my mind. I did not like, and you also nailed it when you said we used to be able to count on beating New York. For the first few years of Charlotte FC as a franchise, they always beat New York City FC. It was just kind of a thing. I think they won 4 in a row and drew with their 5th, but now it's turned a little bit, especially on that playoff series. This is some projected 11s. I think this is a pretty accurate projected 11 for Charlotte. I'm not sure if it matches up with what exactly New York's going to roll out. But for anyone who's in a Charlotte fan who's watching this on YouTube or listening on our audio-only stream, what can you tell us about who to watch out for in New York? You say they're a good team. We've seen Hannes Wolf. We've seen Nico Fernandez do some damage against us in the past. Are those still the danger men we're worried about this weekend?
So I think that they can burn you on the attack in so many different ways. They've really found ways to adapt since losing their talisman. And maybe this is my World Cup aura, shall I say, or just my World Cup vibe right now. But you are going to have a hard time breaking down Matt Freese. He's really rounding into form. So I think it's, like going up against the guy who could be representing the U.S. come the World Cup in 55 days. Matt Freese. I think keep your eyes on this Charlotte attack. Keep your eyes on Matt Freese, New York City goalkeeper.
Yeah, Matty Ice, Mr. Freeze. He's put in some big performances against us already in the past, and I do like him a lot. I think Philadelphia probably was wishing they hadn't let him go and wishing they hadn't hung on to Andre Blake so tightly. But I'm looking forward to a good match. I think Charlotte needs to do it on the road. We talked about the fixture list, how we've had the benefit of having a ton of home games early on so far this season. We had 5 home matches in a row. Yeah. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row on the road before another home stretch. And this back and forth is something Dean Smith has criticized a lot, Jillian. I don't know how much you're familiar with it, but he even took the time to talk about it last night. So we played the Open Cup match last night against USL 1 club, Charlotte Independence. It was the first ever Charlotte Derby. You might have heard me talking about some of that before I brought you on the show. But even after that match was over in a 6-0 win because they were going against 10, Dean found the time to bring up his displeasure with the MLS fixture list.
I've come to get used to that in the MLS. It's not a fixture list I enjoy. Where you play 5 at home and 4 away. But it is what it is, and you have to deal with it. And we'll be ready now for. I watched New York, for 30 minutes last night, and they had players playing who sometimes play in the first team as well. So they gave players a run. We'll be ready for that game now on Saturday.
Dean versus MLS administration is one of the biggest rivalries in the league, I feel like.
Dean Smith does not hold back. That's for sure. And listen, I think what I'd really love to see televised is like Dean Smith asking Commissioner Don Garber just like these questions. And I actually think if he got the answers, that there's so much involved that we don't know about that goes into these things. It's not just, it's not random. There is rhyme and reason. But I think that it'd be a
You mean Don Garber didn't get a gold letter committee together to see how they could screw Charlotte over as best as possible back in December? I mean, what the hell?
Well, I haven't spoken on the record to the commissioner about Charlotte. That I would feel very comfortable guaranteeing. So I think that if Dean Smith, but listen, aside from all that stuff, I think it's that you get Dean Smith who comes in with a really different profile from a lot of MLS managers. We have a really good mix right now in MLS. You look at like a BJ Callahan type that was coaching Nashville, and that is like purebred, like working up through the ranks of American soccer. And Dean Smith comes over here with the highest of experience in England, and he has a completely different outlook. And like that type of outlook, whether how informed it is or not, it pushes the league to grow, and it's good for everybody. And it's good to have managers and it's good to have players in any league that have personality, and anybody would be the first one to tell you that. And Dean Smith has a personality.
Yeah, he does. Dino's at the wheel, as we love to say on the show over and over again. We've been fans of him ever since he showed up from England a couple of years ago, and we've been big fans. That's where I want to end with you, Jillian, because you talk about coaches with personalities, players with personalities. You have interviewed some of the biggest stars in MLS history. You've sat with Beckham, you've sat with Zlatan, you've sat with Nani, you've talked to Messi. You know all these people that are huge talents. And here in Charlotte, we're just trying to hold on to the talent we have. Wilfred Zaha's talking about leaving. His wife is posting on Instagram that she's about to leave Charlotte, and she's enjoyed it, but her time here is coming to an end. Johnny and I talked about that in our last episode. I'm not asking you to speculate about Wilf, but what I would like to hear from you, because of your experience with the global game and knowing superstars, is what do you think of Zoran Krnet and his comments about most of the big superstars not wanting to come to Charlotte? Whether we hold on to Zaha or not, we're going to have to replace him, and we need to fill our DP slots with impact players. We want greatness here at this club, in this city, and we're tired of not winning trophies, and we're tired of feeling like we're kind of an also-ran in the MLS landscape. So what's it going to take to get superstars to come to Charlotte FC?
Okay, well, there's one answer to that, and that is just a lot of money. Nobody minds getting paid, but I'll
Thank you.
address it.
We have a lot of it. We have a lot of money.
I want to address it in two parts. The first being that I do want to say the personality that Ashley Westwood has, as honestly, been one of the personalities I have enjoyed the most over the last 12 months. He is incredibly approachable. He's very honest. And he has a magnetic personality. So yes, Zlatan was a heck of a personality. There are amazing personalities in MLS. This league needs more of them. And I'm not saying they don't exist, but to feel open, to feel empowered, to challenge MLS, to challenge the league. So I know Charlotte knows that they have an all-timer in Ashley Westwood, but when it comes to superstar names, we'll go through the names that are in MLS right now. I'm doing LAFC this weekend, like a Sun type. Mm-hmm. I would counter that. Did anybody think that someone wants to live in Orlando? No. Antoine Griezmann is going to Orlando City this summer. Charlotte, for me personally, if I'm going to live in a city, I'm probably, just from a climate perspective, I'm picking Charlotte over Orlando. So
11 times out of 10. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Think now, is it a slightly more challenging than in New York and LA and Miami? Sure. But if the price is right and the pieces are in place for someone to want to come and the conversation is there and the vision, I do not think a world superstar does not want to come to Charlotte. I don't think that at all. Thomas Mueller moved to Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah. Mueller, Son. These are guys we would have loved to have. Also, we would have loved to have Christian Espinoza, who I think is a superstar and was a free agent this year. We didn't even make a run. We let him go free to Nashville.
MLS.
So
that's a whole other MLS story.
Yeah, exactly.
I love so very much.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jillian, that's awesome to hear. Thank you for your kind words about Charlotte, about this show especially, and thanks for coming in and sharing your perspective. Have a great weekend with LAFC, and tell all the people that it's for the crown, baby, please.
It's for the crown.
Baby.
Baby. It's for the crown, baby.